Hi there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now my goal after this video is to walk you through the process of how to effectively delegate your email and calendar to your virtual assistant. Now, if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I run a virtual assistant agency in the Philippines called 2XU, and I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, so make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, one of the first things that our clients in 2XU usually delegate is their email and calendar. It's what I usually refer to as a way to manage their input, which is the things that are coming into their attention, and then managing their output, things that they need to send out into the world, whether that's invites or emails or letting people know what's happening. Having your virtual assistant successfully manage your input and output is going to save you just a lot of hours in your day, in your week, as you're working through and working with them. Now, what I'm going to walk you through for these two tasks is I'm going to walk you through a 3-step process. First one is just a walkthrough. Second is delegating. And third one is just automating. We're going to walk you through that whole process of how to do it without delegating by abdication or micromanaging your assistant at all. Now, first part is how to actually delegate your email in the best way. First thing is you want to check your systems. What I mean by this, if you're using Gmail or using Outlook or using some kind of service, high chances are that there is a way where you can assign your email to them. What I mean by this is that they'll be able to see the things that come into your inbox without even having your login in. And the way to do this either on Gmail or Outlook is usually in your settings. You can check basically and see if there is a way to delegate this. If you're on Google Workspace, it's even easier because you can assign your email to someone else. Then same thing for Outlook. This can even usually be found inside of the settings of your email itself without having to go into the admin console or anywhere else. So that's the first step, is to ensure your own privacy as well of your assistant not being able to log in using your email, because you want to see if there's a way you can just delegate the email from the software itself. Now that that's covered on the systems, on tool that you're using, let's go through the walkthrough part of this process. Now, walking through is essentially just going with the flow and creating the flow that your assistant will go through. As you're someone who's been managing your email for a while, you want to walk through your assistant just like, hey, this is how I do it. This is how I clean it up. You might want to do this maybe 2-3 times before you start moving into the delegation part, but you also want to create a flow that makes sense for the both of you. So the first one is how often to check. So for example, with me and my assistant, our system is start of day, lunchtime, or midday, and then before wrapping up the day. This way, she doesn't miss any important emails that might have come on throughout the day. I'm able to flag them or reply to them, or she would be able to reply to them as needed. Second is cleaning up the unsubscribe and things to delete. Walk your assistant through the process of what are things that you've been wanting to unsubscribe from, and what are things to just outright delete. That way, they're starting to learn your preferences of like, hey, I really like being subscribed to this newsletter. Feel free to just leave it there. I'd like to read that in the morning. Or it could be like, hey, anytime that this kind of email comes in, which is usually like whenever people are doing lead gen on you, that services that you're not interested in, or it could be if it's just an email that was wrongly sent to you, then that's something that you can just say, hey, feel free to delete this. The third part is filter and label, which is essentially just the process of making sure that every single email is labeled in the right way, attaching filters to it, so it makes it easier to label things and makes it easier for the both of you to look at it. Now, once you've gone through that, you've gone through basically the walkthrough part of delegating your email. The second part is the actual delegating. So this is when you're letting them probably check a few emails. This is after like maybe a week of them seeing how you clean up your email. And essentially, this is the part where you start adding filters, labels, and essentially getting to the part where you're doing template. So when it comes to the filters, again, depending on the software that you're using, I'm using Gmail for everything else in our company. So that's kind of my frame of reference, is you want to start creating filters and labels on a few main things. First one is any email that is just for you. And these are typically emails that only you can respond to or your assistant hasn't seen before. That's why they don't know how to respond to this. These could also be emails that are a little bit sensitive, so they want to make sure that you look at it before they even respond or do anything with it. So that's the first kind of label or filter that you need. This could be creating a filter for people who are your clients, or people who are important contacts. That way your assistant automatically sees it when it tags the filter for the email. For example, when the assistant sees that the email is labeled with for me or for your name, essentially, then this is something that they know, like, oh, this is something I don't even have to check, or I can just check real quick, just give a summary to my client. So that's kind of one of the first things, is creating a filter of like, what are emails that you really want to be the one to look at them. So this could be, again, emails from clients. This could be emails from potential partners that you know their email. So you've already put in as a filter to apply the label for you or for me, basically in this case, where your virtual assistant will just understand that this is something that you need to see. The second filter slash label is putting in something that's just for assistant. So for example, for me and my assistant, it's just like for assistant task or for assistant eyes. You can play around with the label as much as you want, but the point of this label is that they know that this is something that they're in charge of, that they can respond to, that they know that this is an email that they can read, they can respond to, or do something about, because based on the different filters. So this could be possibly emails that they sent out themselves as you, so follow-up emails. These could be emails from people who want to maybe interview you or reach out to you. These are now the things that they can start going through. And the third one is just action needed. If it's something where the both of you have to be in a meeting to be able to discuss this or go through it, you can just put it under action needed. Now, these are just different labels, so your assistant can start labeling inside of your email. It doesn't even have to be that they do anything at first. It could be that as you're delegating this, since that's the phase we're in, they're going through each and every one of them and just labeling them to the things that, hey, I think this is what they should be going into. You can always add other labels. So for example, for me, I have labels based on the partnerships that I'm on, so like their company name. I have labels on if it's an email coming internally from other members of the team, and I have a label on like daily reports based on like the subject line that our EAs used. So it makes it easier for me to look at things and understand kind of a heat map of where my inbox is at, so it's easy for me to look at them and know what to do next. Another tip that I do have for you is to archive and rarely delete. So what I mean by this is, as much as possible when it comes to your emails, especially since your assistant is handling them, is try to make sure that they just get archived instead of getting deleted overall. That way you can always go back, you can always clean things up later on. You just have a record of when certain emails come in, when you're supposed to be following up, so on and so forth. Now finally, getting to the automation side of it. So we just went through the walkthrough, we went through the delegation. Now how do we actually automate email management for your assistant? So there is a process. First one is having them create drafts. And what I mean by this is when they see an email and they think that they know what their response should be, is to just leave it as a draft in your inbox for you to check on later to see if they did it well. The next part is then creating templates. Now when it comes to creating templates, it's essentially the process of them creating a frequently asked question or creating just general templates for themselves of like how you've responded to these emails, so then they know that they can just copy and paste this into an email and then send it out. And then the last stage is when they're able to now send things without you checking. So this usually comes in the later part as they're learning more of your voice, how you respond, they know about your business, and what are the things that you want to make sure is conveyed on email. And at this stage, I recommend that you add one more label, which is basically by your assistant's name or by them. This way, you're able to go back and check what are the things that they have sent out. You can just double check things, you can quality check if you need to, but there's a way for you to be able to see what are the emails that they sent out versus, of course, the things that you wrote. The eventual goal here is to eventually just free you up from that whole process so you don't have to do email management by yourself. Now, in the next video, I'll be talking about calendar management. I honestly thought I would be able to fit it in one video, but I'll walk you through that same process of walkthrough, delegate, and automation, so then it's easier for you and your assistant to keep working together when it comes to managing your calendar. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below what other processes do you want me to break down on how to delegate to your assistant. I would love to know and make a future video about it. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. And make sure to check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!